Fourth, Christ's mission for us. Heaven-aimed Christianity focuses heavily upon saving us from sin. We no longer stand guilty before God, and we are led to say no to selfish lusts, to live life seeking to gratify our self-absorbed passions. Heaven-aimed Christianity focuses heavily upon Christ forgiving us and freeing us. Furthermore, heaven-aimed Christianity focuses heavily upon the hope that Christ gives us, which is that we will be safe with Him when we die and that we will be protected from all evil after we die. Right now, when a person turns to Jesus in faith to seek forgiveness and to follow Him, Jesus forgives that person. That's all what heaven-aimed Christianity isolates upon, and that is all biblically true and accurate. But if that is all Christians focus upon, it produces a kind of Christianity that looks isolationist and separatist. What do I mean? Christians who focus only upon this part of Christ's work are naturally led to separate from society and culture so that there is very little engagement with the non-Christian community. Heaven-aimed Christians who take their Christianity seriously easily gravitate toward isolating themselves into Christian bubbles. Non-Christians have very little interaction with Christians. They develop all kinds of false ideas about what Christianity actually is and must do all the heavy lifting, relationally speaking, if they want to know more about Christ or spend time with Christ followers. Focusing heavily upon the evil in the world and Christ's promise to remove us from evil leads Christians to avoid even the possibility of interacting with this messy world. But that isolationism and separatism was never part of Christ's mission for us in the here and now. Jesus said to His followers, quote, "Pay attention. I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves." Matthew 10:16. When Jesus prayed for the church at the end of His life, He prayed, quote, "Father, I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil one." Paul told the Christian church in Corinth not to associate with those who bear the name of Christ while sleeping around, stealing, and lying. But they misunderstood him to mean, do not associate with all people who practice that behavior. He corrected them, saying, No. Since then, you would need to go out of the world to do that. Clearly implying that going out of the world is not what Christ followers do. I allude to these three verses, and there are many more, to paint the picture that Christ wants Christians to live among unbelievers while being different in their worship, walk, and witness. In many ways, Christians will look like non-Christians. They marry, parent, work, play, rest, suffer, celebrate. But in morality and spirituality, Christians will be quite distinct. Heaven Now Christianity offers a helpful corrective to the isolationism and separatism that is all too common in heaven-aimed Christianity. That corrective is simple. Christ receives us, yes, heaven-aimed Christianity, but He also sends us, Heaven Now Christianity. Christ receives us and then He sends us. Heaven-aimed Christianity focuses only on the fact that Christ receives us and neglects the fact that Christ sends us. Key evidence that Christ has received us and transformed us is that we begin to live on His mission, to worship Him in truth and spirit, to bear witness to His message and His call, and to walk in a manner that reflects His nature and character. Imagine life being something like The Amazing Race television show. Only we aren't competing with other humans to beat them. But life is a race. All the difficulties, the trials, the adventure, the rewards, the surprises, the relief, you name it, the race has it. Life can be like that. In this life, when we come to Jesus, He receives us, comforts us, restores us, and remains with us. But He doesn't take us out of the race. We are still in it. Except the goal we aimed for all along is not the goal that life was all about. And the rules we played by weren't the ones we needed. Jesus not only puts us back in the race, he puts us on a different race with different rules and a different goal. It all overlaps with others in some ways and is totally distinct in other ways. All that to say, heaven-aimed Christianity focuses too heavily on Christ taking us out of the race. Heaven Now Christianity balances Christ receiving us with Christ sending us into the race to help us race well and to help others find their way to Him.